Hey guys, just doing the final update for the Great Australian Ride. Finally got pretty much all the information and stuff to get this done, and a few people have asked who made it and all that kind of stuff. So obviously a lot of people watching the videos weren't following the Facebook stuff, which all those updates came out. So what I'll do is basically just run through from the start and just tell you where people dropped off and broke down and stuff like that, and then who made it to the end. Before I say that, so far for SIDS and Kids, we've raised $24,893 so far, and there's still every now and then a few bits and pieces, so we're still hoping that we're going to make the $25,000 mark. So that's really great, and thank you very much to everybody that's donated. It's been fantastic. You know, I never thought we'd make it. Make it so far with the fundraising. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal, I should say. All right, so we've got. We started here at Byron Bay, and basically our idea was to go straight across to Steep Point, so the most easterly point of Australia to the most westerly point of Australia. So we all started off, 12 riders, going from Byron Bay, and the first off was Cal, and that was between Nakundra Hotel and Cameron's Corner, which is somewhere about there. And what happened is there's no real major reason. It's just sometimes shit happens. Pretty sandy it was on a corner, and he just come off his bike, stuffed the bike up, and also broke his arm right there. He was taken with the support vehicle, and the bike was taken to Toowoomba, and then he was flown with the Royal Flying Doctors to Broken Hill, which is a funny thing, a broken man to Broken Hill. And then from there they couldn't handle the type of brake that he had, and he was actually then flown to Adelaide, which is down here. So he got flown from Toowoomba is there, straight down to here. And then about an hour after that I come off for the first time. Nothing major, put a hole in Harry, but he was alright. We fixed him up, as you would have seen on the other videos. And then an hour after that I come off again, and off the other side, twisted the knee and ankle, and that pretty much put me out. I still was able to ride another 60 k's to get to Cameron's Corner, but after that I was pretty much out. The next morning all the guys then headed off for Inaminka, and it wasn't until they got to Birdsville, and some of the guys went out there to try and get up and over what they call Big Red. It's a big red sand dune out there, and a lot of the four-wheel drives and motorbikes like to try and conquer it. And poor old Pete on his Honda Dominator, he got about halfway and it blew up. So poor Pete was then the third person out, but that was only for mechanical reasons. After that, so Birdsville is right there. So then after that they had to go up north to Boulia before heading across to Alice Springs. And I think somewhere along here, and I think it would have been about there, Wayne come off his V-Strom. He basically was going pretty fast and went over a cattle grate, and got over that all right. But then straight after the cattle grate was a fairly tight turn right, and he either had a choice of trying to get around this turn or go up and over a bank. He went for the bank, got up and over it, no worries. But once you're in the bush, there's no way you're going to hold a motorcycle up. So he actually come off and, can't believe it, but twisted his foot backwards, and in the shock and with the adrenaline, he actually twisted it back straight, which made it great for shipping him back. But yeah, man, that's crazy just to think of doing that. to yourself. So he was then, his bike was still okay, it was rideable, and they shipped him back in the back of the support vehicle to Boulia, where then he was flown to Mount Isa, and then from Mount Isa, and now, I don't know where, Mount Isa's somewhere up here, and then he was flown to Townsville, which is off the map, but it's just up there. Yeah, so he was flown there, and he actually had in his thigh and his the shin part of the leg, two spiral fractures. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I know he had two spiral fractures, and I think it was the upper and the lower leg. So yeah. Alright, so then the fellas from there, they went, so from Boulia they went across to Alice Springs, and I'm pretty sure there was no, obviously, actually there was one guy, Josh, young Josh, he had problems with his motorcycle right from day one, even before getting to Byron Bay, which is where it all started. You know, he had flat tyres, he had problems bloody starting the bike. You know, in the mornings you'd hear it and you'd be going, oh my God, is this thing going to start? And then he went through three different radiators. He had huge problems with the cooling system on that, the KLR, the Kawasaki KLR 650 I think it was. Yeah, but to his credit, I mean, he struggled with that bloody bike, and he'd be hanging back getting things fixed and then catching up and stuff like that, but he really persisted, and he's one of the guys that made it all the way to Steep Point, so yeah, big kudos to Josh. But anyway, so they got to Alice Springs. I think they had a couple of days rest in Alice Springs, and then they went down to Uluru, and I think, yeah, that's right, down to Uluru, and then Uluru, Darren got to Uluru, which was basically the completion of stage 2. So he did stage 1 and stage 2, and he was happy with that. He was still alive, the bike was still alive, and so he headed home happy completing stage 2 of that ride, which is really good. Another special mention for Darren, he's raised over $4,000. Just huge. I mean, I think that's nearly double the next person's amount, so that's just absolutely fantastic, buddy. Darren, you're a top bloke. Alright, so then from Uluru all the way through to, so where are we? There's Alice, so then we come down, Uluru's there. So basically they went up through here and then down all the way till they get to Mount Magnet. At Mount Magnet, they were supposed to cut across through the bush tracks up here to Steep Point, but I think Stuart was nursing a pretty low back tyre. Christian had to get a new sprocket and chain, and obviously Josh, with his bike playing up all the bloody way, they took the tarmac road into Geraldton, and then they were meeting the other three guys, which was Ken, Barry and Lachlan, who did the bush track right across. And basically I think they were supposed to meet at the Overlander Hotel, but I think they ended up meeting a little way in. There was a campsite set up there with a kiosk and stuff like that. So, and I think the way that the times were, they ended up meeting up somewhere out here, but they weren't at the sign all at the same time to get the photo. So if you see some of the photos, there's 3 guys in one and 3 in another. Just the way, you know, it's vast places and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, hard to try and coordinate that. But they ended up having 6 guys. So Stuart, Christian, Josh, Ken, Barry and Lachlan all made it all the way to Steep Point. Awesome effort. I mean, that small amount that I did, that is just huge, and it just goes on and on and on. So top effort. Alright guys, so I've told you about the SIDS and kids. So we've with the money that we've raised, which is fantastic, You know, hopefully we've given SIDS and kids, you know, a lot of awareness to, you know, to people out there. They do a really good job. And I believe next year, Great Australian Ride 2013 is in the planning works. I certainly won't be trying that on the boulevard again. I think I've learnt my lesson there. And so anyway, I'll be wishing them the best of luck for next year. Anyway guys, I will see you in the next video update, and remember, keep on riding guys.